Hello, everybody. Today we are here with Karen Johnson, Head of Retail and Wholesale at Barclays. And today we're going to talk about retail this Christmas. So Karen, tell me what cash flow is going to look like this Christmas.
Well, that's an interesting question and one we've been monitoring very carefully. It's been a tough year in 2023, and the big question was, are consumers going to actually come out and spend over Christmas? And what our data is telling us so far is that yes, they are. We saw the run-up to Black Friday weekend, non-discretionary spend was up by 2.1%, and our Barclaycard transaction data indicated that whilst transaction volumes on Black Friday itself were down by 0.6%, on the Sunday, which has been dubbed Super Sunday, the volumes were actually up by 13.5% on Black Friday, which indicates that consumers are out there spending, they're choosing and they're looking for discounts, but hopefully all those volumes will actually translate to cash flow as well.
Definitely. No, that's really good news to know that the consumers are out there spending their money, especially leading up to the holidays and that crucial retail season that everyone's looking for that boost. And so they're spending their money. So do you know what they're spending their money on in particular?
Well, what we have found, again, we used the Barclays barometer that we undertook in October, and that surveyed retailers in terms of who was most optimistic for the golden quarter, and actually indicated that all retailers across all different categories were optimistic and felt that their offers would entice consumers to spend. What we have seen, though, is a real change in consumer buying behaviours throughout 2023. A high inflationary environment, impact on discretionary spending. Consumers are very cost conscious, and they are tending to spend where they see value, where they're offered discounts or promotional and loyalty activity. And that is really what is driving transactional volumes. So the retailers that have got that right will be the ones that will benefit from that spend.
And so consumer habits are changing, and we're obviously seeing it come back to life this year for the Christmas boost that everybody's waiting for. Do you see that people are going out to the high streets to spend their shopping, or are they doing it online?
Well, we've been tracking a number of different measures, and actually online spending has actually continued to fall throughout 2023. In November, it's about 26% of all purchases were actually online, and we have seen footfall continue to increase. Footfall from the measures we've seen so far was about 2% up on prior year, and we're hoping that will continue in December. The weather, however, does have a big impact on that, and the wet weather recently has meant, especially a couple of Sundays, consumers have stayed at home on the laptops as opposed to venturing out to the high streets. But in terms of the high streets themselves, we are seeing retailers invest in them.
Even personally, I've seen a lot of people out on the streets this year. I was doing all of my shopping last weekend, actually. And I try not to do it online as much over the Christmas because I don't want to wait for the mail and, have things get delayed, and that's usually my luck. And so I guess we're expecting a boost this Christmas. A lot of retailers are expecting that Christmas boost that they look forward to all year long. Do you think that momentum will continue into the new year?
Yeah, we have seen a lot of confidence coming back. As we went into 2023, it was a very difficult time. Mortgage rates were rising, energy costs were still high, there was supply chain disruption. But as we've gone throughout 2023 and as we head into 2024, we are seeing an improvement in consumer confidence. All the indices that we track are all showing a definite improvement as at November. I'm loath to call it optimism, but there's definitely a fact that inflation has peaked and is starting to reduce. People are conscious of what mortgage rates are going to go to. They seem to be levelling out. And with wage rates going up as well, there's people are a little bit more confident about the discretionary spend that they actually have available. And if they know how much discretionary spending they have got, they are more confident about going out to spend it. So I think retailers are definitely hoping that that will look positive in 2024.
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of optimism going into the new year, but that's kind of expected, isn't it? Because January, new year, new you. And so I guess the million-dollar question to end all of this is, how do we get shoppers back to the high street in general?
The key to that is about customer experience. If people enjoy going out to the shops and the experience they actually have in them, then that will draw them back. And we are seeing that happening. 67% of all retailers have invested in their customer store experience, whether that be using extra technology, additional sales staff, ensuring that when they actually go into the store, they actually get added value. The other thing we are seeing, and which is quite an interesting trend, is that some of the online only retailers have actually taken pop-up stores in lead up to Christmas. So we've seen ASOS and Look Fantastic with stores. And we've also seen Depop and eBay doing pre-loved luxury pop-up stores. And I think this really demonstrates the attraction of the high street. To see online retailers also wanting to be there shows you the power and why people are coming back to the high street.
The customer value part is really interesting, given that usually it's an activity that you do, whether it be with your family, your friends, your parents. You go out shopping and you spend the day. You get some food and, you browse, and it's kind of, it really is that experience, whether you can't get that online. So
you can't.
It's good to hear that.
I think retailers are continuing to invest. They are listening to what their consumers are telling them, and they are looking at the data that they have to ensure that when they're marketing, they're appealing to their customers. And that data and use of it is something I think we'll also continue to see next year.
Well, there you have it, everybody. That was Karen Johnson speaking about Christmas this year. So it seems like some exciting times ahead.